Hey there, this is Samara Lynn here with Sasha Seekin, and welcome to today's edition of PCMag Live. And we have today's top trending news for you. We have our one cool thing to show you, and we also have a reader question. So there's a lot of news. Let's just get right to it. So the big news is Microsoft's CEO was announced. Sasha.
Well, sort of. Bloomberg
Right.
is saying that Satya Nadella, the executive vice president of Microsoft's Cloud and Enterprise Group, will be the next CEO of Microsoft. Microsoft has not officially announced this, but the entire internet universe seems to agree that Bloomberg's report looks reliable. Nadella is 47 years old. He's been working at Microsoft for 20 years. He grew the revenue from cloud services in 2 years from $16.6 billion to $20.3 billion. But I don't really know this guy, and you've actually seen him, right?
Now, he gave a keynote at some reviewers workshop or some enterprise event Microsoft held for the tech media. There's no question he's brilliant. I mean, he has made the enterprise division of Microsoft just unbelievably successful. Azure, the new R2 wave of Azure has eaten into Amazon's EC2 market, AWS market. They're doing great, which is why I kind of hope this isn't true. To me, the enterprise division of Microsoft should just stay as is. That's not what needs help. It doesn't need to be micromanaged. Personally, I would kind of like to have seen like a Julie Larson Green at the helm without having to be under Ballmer.
Yeah, I feel like Microsoft's main problem, their main challenge, they're doing great in enterprise. Their main challenge is that all their consumer businesses are stumbling, except for Xbox.
Right.
And so is this guy the right guy to save the consumer businesses?
I'm questionable about it. I would either like to see somebody who has been an executive level in the device side, like Julie, or I would like to see fresh new blood.
Okay,
Just get rid of old Ballmer's, team.
There's going to be about 12,000 articles written about Satya Nadella in the next couple of weeks, and we will certainly have at least 2,000 or 3,000 of them.
Yep, so there you go. Now, there's a lot of grumbling. A lot of people are up in arms about this. Amazon Prime is raising its price.
I'm on board with that grumbling, okay? Amazon said on their earnings call that they're considering raising the $79 annual price for Amazon Prime by $20 to $40 a year. Now, Prime is this weird product where most of the people buying Prime are buying it to get that free shipping. But it also includes this Kindle book lending element and this streaming video element. And they're raising the prices because delivery prices of real physical hard objects are going up. But sort of the streaming services are getting dragged along for the ride. Are you an Amazon Prime member?
I am not.
Okay, why not?
I just really, I'm happy with getting my stuff in 2 or 3 days.
Okay, and the streaming services are nothing you're interested in?
Yeah, no, not really. No.
Yeah, I mean, my experience too is I am a Prime member because I love the shipping, but the streaming services aren't, like, I hardly even notice them.
Right.
So I wonder if Amazon wants to be a bigger, more powerful media company, maybe they need to snap these two services off separately and offer the streaming services for a lower separate rate.
Right. But, I mean, can we agree, like, hashtag first world problems?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
right. All right. Well, okay, so now let's get to...
First world webcast, okay?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the real news today. D&D yoga.
Okay. This annoying hipster in Brooklyn who doesn't actually know anything about Dungeons and Dragons decided that he would get a lot of press by incorporating buzzwords from D&D into his yoga studio because he's an obnoxious Brooklyn hipster, and we are all catering to his grandstanding.
Wow. Yeah.
Why don't you go into this a little further, Samara?
Well, I really don't know. This is one of those stories I kind of would skim over just because it's just so high on my irritation level. But I do love, I have a history with D&D.
Yeah, I mean, what this guy did was, I mean, because D&D is in the news right now, it's the 40th anniversary of D&D. D&D seems to be having some sort of resurgence as a Brooklyn hipster thing among people who, unlike us, were not into it for our entire lives.
Right.
But so he's renaming the poses, things like dice rolling or sword one, and they're rolling D10s to see what the next yoga poses would be. And oh God, it's an obnoxious gimmick. Let's just all check out the new version of D&D, okay? They finally got rid of the horrible 4th edition rules, and this might be better this time.
That's way worse than the Amazon Prime thing.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to a reader question. I guess Sasha?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
So Nathan asked, he said he has 50 megabit home internet. He does a lot of Netflix streaming. And he wants to know what kind of Wi-Fi router would be best for high bandwidth streaming through his home. And he dropped a bunch of model numbers and buzzwords, but I don't think he really knows what they mean. So I'm just going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think Nathan is kind of getting at whether does he want an N900, N600. You know, like you said, all these buzzwords. Nathan, you really can just go with a good N600 router if you're going with an 802.11n router. And I say that because the vendors are pushing all these N900 routers, and that means, of course, that those are triple spatial stream routers. But you have to have a suitable wireless adapter. You have to make sure the wireless adapter of any device has what's called a 3x3 adapter. Most devices don't. Just a couple of high-end business laptops. So I really think it's overkill. It's a waste of money. It sounds like you have really good bandwidth. I think you can get away with an N600 lower-priced router, especially going with N. If you want to go future forward, go with an 11AC router.
I was going to say, what about AC?
Yeah. That's not quite there yet, but that's I would recommend that over N900.
Okay, great. So Nathan, this year, get an affordable N600 router. Next year, start looking at AC.
There you go.
Okay.
And now for our one cool thing. And here we go.
So this is actually one cool old thing. Why don't you hold it straight up to the camera there so they can see the widget. Today, I found out through some blogs that this company, INQ, which made the first semi-official Facebook phone, finally went out of business. And this is one of their Facebook phones, the Ink Cloud Touch, which never came out in the US, but it was in some Asian and European countries a couple of years ago, I think it was 2009, and maybe 2011. But in any case, this was a semi-official Facebook phone. And one of the fascinating things about Facebook is how often and frequently they're failing with cell phones. Okay, they licensed stuff to Ink, made these Facebook phones. Nothing. Then HTC made some Facebook phones. If you remember the Cha-Cha and the Salsa and phones like that, those really failed. And then there was Facebook Home with the HTC First. Okay, that was a total bomb. And so you have to wonder about Facebook. I mean, people love mobile phones. People love Facebook. People love using Facebook on mobile phones. But Facebook does not seem to be able to get it together to have a really Facebook-forward device. Maybe it's something that'll never happen, but here we have one of the early Facebook phones. These guys are out of business, and I hope they're heading on to their next great venture.
So you think it's safe to assume we're not going to see another Facebook phone on the market?
I don't think we're going to see another Facebook phone for quite a while. That ship has sailed. Mark Zuckerberg is now doing all these little apps like this paper app we discussed yesterday, which take individual features out of Facebook and kind of proliferate them over your phone.
So this can be like 20 years, like a Newton.
Yeah.
Like this some kind of like collector's item.
It's going into the PCMag museum, the Ink Cloud Touch.
All right. Well, there you go, today's show, and thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to submit any readers' questions for me, for Sasha, for any of the analysts here, any of the editors, and we'll be happy to read the question and answer it as best as we can on the show. Thanks, and have a great day.